we've been watching as hundreds of thousands of pro-government Iranians have been celebrating today. Take a look. President Ahmadinejad announced this morning Iran is now a nuclear state. It is the 31st anniversary of the Islamic Revolution, and security forces have been fanned out to try to keep opposition protesters bent on a new revolution from forming their own rally. We continue to get information about exactly what's happening on the ground. That's not the easiest thing to do, though, to get information from Iran. The United States also, as you may know, is imposing some new sanctions on the regime. Christian Whiton was a State Department official under President George W. Bush and joins us now. Christian, good to see you this morning. Interesting, you said that you think we're watching as this regime in Iran is entering, as you say, its final decade. We're getting to the end. Why do you say that?
Well, Jane, I think what's really remarkable, because what we're seeing is a very broad-based political dissent movement. It's not just about the 2009 election. It's not just about the candidates of that particular election. You're seeing something that goes beyond just Tehran, beyond just students. This now involves Iranians from all walks of life. Of course, it involves modern secularists, but also it involves middle-class Iranians. It involves some traditionalists. It has geographic depth. And it's a very impressive, broad-based dissent movement, and I think it is safe to conclude that the Iranian regime has entered its final decade. No one can time a dissent movement. They don't run on schedules, but what we're seeing is very impressive.
We're, just to let our viewers know, looking at some amateur video of what are said to be these anti-government rallies today. The threat of violence, though, for these protesters, Christian, as you know, is very real. I mean, we have seen in recent weeks executions.
That's right. No, it's a very serious situation, and all of these people are taking mortal risks to stand up for Iran that's not ruled by corrupt and brutal, unelected or not fairly elected officials. You know, one thing the Obama administration and the West can do is to raise the cost for the Iranian regime to crack down violently on its own people. The way we can do that is by leading an international coalition to condemn, you know, very directly and without any equivocation, to condemn any violence, and that would in effect raise the cost of a crackdown.
So you're talking about saying more in addition to doing more.
That's right. As sort of just a baseline, you start by saying more, and having dealt with dissidents from a number of different countries, it's amazing how much they just want to have often some sort of support from the outside, knowing that there are limits to what we can do to help them when they're in mortal danger, but just that moral support can mean a lot. And then you can go farther. We should establish communications with leaders in the Green Movement. This is a movement that's changing. It's likely to have different leaders in the next 1 or 2 years ahead. But we should go much farther than, frankly, we did last summer when the U.S. really did very little to support this movement.
Yeah, and I suppose one of the challenges is that the movement has said publicly anyway they don't necessarily want our help. We're going to get into that a little bit more coming up. Christian Whiton, former State Department official. Good to see you, Christian. Thank you.